Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Goldeneye 007 for the N64, and if you're a fan of the game and a fan of game modding, you may be a fan of this news here. There's a mod out there called Extended View Distance, but it's so much more than just Extended View Distance. So the other day there was a live stream of this mod in action, and the live stream's just over an hour and a half in length. Like everything I talk about, link will be in the description below right at the bottom. Anyways, they say this is a mod that aims to update the graphical fidelity of Goldeneye while keeping the same visual feeling. Fixes various rendering problems across all maps, transparency issues, extends the fog and render distance. This makes it so no object or part of the map will pop in while you play. Now, it is worth pointing out this mod is currently in development. It hasn't released just yet. The developer of this one says download links soon after I fix a handful of things. I'm excited about this one. I am looking forward to this one. I mean, given the fact that it does fix a few things with the base game, keeps the flavor of the base game, but basically just enhances it. I would almost say that this is GoldenEye 64 enhanced, but I could be wrong about that. Let me know your thoughts about that one in the comments below. And speaking about mods and YouTube videos, next up we're talking about fan translations. Now, we cover fan translations from time to time on this channel. We've covered, I think, none of these. Anyways, there's a brand new video here for the monthly game fan translation recap for October. I'll drop a link to it in the description below, and I do recommend checking this one out. To be honest with you, I'm not really familiar with all of these games. I'm familiar with some, but that's really about it, and probably because a lot of these games never got a North American release. Anyways, everything is time-stamped here, but it is worth pointing out some of these games are NSFW, so feel free to just skip by those if you don't want to see them. Next up, if you're a PC gamer with an AM5 motherboard, you may be excited about this news. I believe MSI and Gigabyte have already issued BIOS updates for a couple of their motherboards, and it appears that Asus is jumping on that train with a turbo game mode. Now, this turbo game mode is said to help single-threaded performance specifically for gaming. So at the time of filming, Asus has released this BIOS update for the ROG X870E Crosshair Hero, and they will be updating the X670, B650, and A620 series motherboards in the future, but I don't have timeframes on those. I'm assuming when more BIOS updates are rolled out across the board, we're going to see a lot more videos on YouTube showcasing the performance and the benefits of turbo game mode. Next up, if you're a fan of video games and older video games and visiting museums, you may be a fan of this news piece. So anyways, it's called GAM, which stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Game Museum. Anyways, here this is opening in Rome in, I guess, 24 days. So they say here, after 12 years, Figamus, the Video Game Museum of Rome, is evolving. GAM, Game Museum, awaits you starting November 30th at Plaza della Repubblica. 3 thematic macro areas to explore the cultural, artistic, and creative value of interactive works, 7 days a week. Stay tuned to discover all of the details of this new adventure. Unfortunately, I don't have any more details for you, but we're not going to have to wait too much longer to figure out what's on display at this museum. And if I'm ever visiting Italy, I'm probably going to want to stop by. Let me know your thoughts about this one. Next up, we're talking about Sega, and Sega's got a brand new handheld coming out that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about, provided you're of the age to use one of these things. So taking a look at the brand new handheld here, it's not a portable Dreamcast or really anything like that. It's a pager device of sorts where users can share emoji messages between each other. It does use Wi-Fi. You have to tap it, I think, to register it with a friend, and well, that's really about it. It doesn't seem there's much gaming on this one at all. It's more of just a weird little messaging device. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and I'm sorry if I clickbaited you in the title, but technically it is a real handheld, and well, Sega's making it. Not for me. Next up, we're talking about the upcoming Super Sega FPGA. Now, we've talked about the Super Sega FPGA a few times now, and it just seems it's in controversy after controversy. And it seems it's found itself in yet another one here. So this is right on Time Extension's website, and it says Super Sega explains why it produces such crappy videos. saying it's afraid analog will steal its ideas. So the full Q&A is up on Time Extension, and I do recommend checking it out. And the first question, why this project looks not so well at all. And they say, we are not rich people. We are just enthusiasts, developers, and so on. We are currently accomplishing the timeline. Which is interesting because in their last video, they rolled up in a Lambo. But anyways here, why you cannot deliver some Super Sega prototype to someone. And they say here, if we send some unit, it may be damaged, loosened, etc. And can also be taken by other company like say Analog. And they can reverse and copy us and the cores and design. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think Analog would be touching this with a 10-foot pole, but I could be wrong. But wait, there's even more. As for why the board does not seem finished, it is not finished at all. We do not have enough money to finish, as of today, a full board with all of the traces. But the 3 to 4 layer board is working. People can not say functional traces are missing because they cannot see the intermediate layers. Now that to me is a giant red flag for accepting pre-order money and them saying that it's going to start shipping in 2025. I mean, as of this, they don't even have a fully working unit yet. And on a side note here, they say they're using an FPGA chip 50% faster than Cyclone V used on Mr. FPGA. Mr. FPGA and similar chipsets cost about 50 USD. Ours cost about 200 USD. Which is very interesting. So this one to me has red flags written all over it as if it didn't already. Now there's a lot more stuff in that article I could get into a lot more detail about, but we'll just keep this at a high level here. And in my opinion, it's really hard to look away from this one. It just seems it's controversy after controversy. Just something keeps cropping up with the Super Sega. I'm hoping it's the real deal. I'm hoping it's going to be real. But at the same time here, everything I've seen just says no. It's screaming at me no. I mean, I could be wrong here, but the Amico seemed like it would be more of a real product than the Super Sega. And speaking about Sega-esque stuff, next up we're talking about the EmuDeck Machine. Now, the EmuDeck Machine is a PC that's designed to play a whole bunch of different games, and it is designed kind of after a Dreamcast. Anyways, here we talked about this one in a previous video. The creator of EmuDeck is the one behind EmuDeck Machine. They started in Indiegogo with a price of about $400, and they were hoping for a bunch of different pre-orders in order to manufacture this thing, but unfortunately, they didn't get the numbers they were looking for. So it seemed they were looking for about 100 pre-orders and only got 40, and the creator of this has apparently refunded every single person. So it's sad to see that this one didn't shape up, but at the same time here, at least people got their money back and it wasn't just a sunk cost. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo, and no, Nintendo has not announced the Switch 2 yet. It's kind of the worst kept secret, but anyways here, the Switch is not selling as well as Nintendo has hoped, and they've lowered the yearly forecast by 1 million units. So it seems that the sales to start fiscal year 25 are down year over year, down about 31%. And on a side note here, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is reported to have sold 2.58 million units. Now, it is being reported that Nintendo has said they will announce the Switch 2 before March of 2025, and I'm assuming once they announce the Switch 2, sales of the Switch will slow to a crawl, unless they have some sort of crazy sale. So taking a look here at the overall numbers for best-selling console of all time, I'm pretty sure the Switch will overtake the PS2, unless they just decide to stop making them altogether. But let me know your thoughts about that one. I mean, it's, 9 million units away, give or take? I'm pretty sure the Switch is going to beat it. On a side note here, if you're curious about the best-selling titles on the Switch, Nintendo has also given us that updated information, and this is as of September 30th, 2024, and it's right on Nintendo's website. So in first place here, no surprise, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with 64 million units sold. And then Animal Crossing New Horizons and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario Party, and Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Kind of surprised to see Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild lower on the list than Smash Bros. I guess Smash Bros. Is just that popular. Let me know your thoughts about this list in the comments below. Next up is a quick heads up. If you've got an NVIDIA GPU and you're on Windows or Linux, you may want to update your drivers sooner rather than later. NVIDIA has identified a major vulnerability. It's a high-risk vulnerability, 8 of them to be specific here. and updating your drivers will fix them. Unless I'm reading this wrong, it appears the issue has been fixed as of a driver update in late October, October 22nd to be specific. And they say here, NVIDIA GPU display driver for Windows and Linux contains a vulnerability which could allow a privileged attacker to escalate permissions. A successful exploit of the vulnerability might lead to code execution, denial of service, escalation of privileges, information disclosure, and data tampering. And speaking about data, next up we're talking about Manjaro. And it appears that Manjaro is making yet another unpopular choice amongst users. And that is something you have to opt out of and not opt into. So there's a recent post over on the Manjaro forums asking for testers for their new data collection tool. Yes, you heard that. They're calling it the Manjaro Data Donor. Well, if you wanted to donate data, it's also going to be opt-out, not opt-in. So under the next steps, they say in the next few days, we'll do some more testing, and if results are positive, I plan on installing it on all Manjaro systems and adding a systemd service to submit the data automatically. With this systemd service later in place, sending the hardware data with MDD will be opt-out, because I believe if you do opt in, the data you gather will be so heavily skewed if you can just leave it be. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, this is the absolute wrong approach. Sure, they may need data to help shape Manjaro, but it should be an optional thing and it should be opt in as opposed to opt out. And in my opinion, it should be a pop-up when you update Manjaro and you boot it up for the first time after the update. The pop-up should say something like, hey, we've got a new tool called the Data Donor to take some data from you if you would like. If you want to be a part of this program, please select yes. If not, select no. Or something along those lines, not just automatically have it attached to the system and force people to opt out of it if they don't want to use it. But who knows here? Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. To me, this is just not the right step for Manjaro. And if anyone from Manjaro is watching this video, please just make this an opt-in, make it a pop-up, and go from there. The opt-out, sure, might be great for getting data, but at the same time here, from a user perspective, it's nice to know this stuff is there up front and you've got the option of whether or not you actually want to use it. Now, looking at the comments on that post, and well, it seems some people are in line with what I'm saying, even the forum moderator. So this person says, while I understand your vantage, I firmly believe that it should be opt-in rather than opt-out, even if only for ethical reasons. Next up, we're talking about the PS5 Pro. Now, the PS5 Pro has not officially launched yet. However, some people already have their hands on one. In fact, in a previous video, we talked about someone doing a teardown of one. Anyways, someone has been uploading PS5 Pro gameplay over on YouTube. Their name is Gabriel Master. Now, I don't know if all of these games have PS5 Pro patches released yet, but at the same time, the videos are up there. There's a bunch of games being showcased. And although I can't really see too much in terms of graphical difference, it does seem that some of the games are running a little bit smoother. I could be wrong, though. It might just be a placebo. According to the PlayStation blog, there will be 50 plus enhanced games available at launch of the PS5 Pro on November 7th. I'm assuming most of these patches have been rolled out. If not, they will be soon here. And there are a lot of great games on this list, including Baldur's Gate 3 and, well, a whole bunch more. Next up, we're talking about PS4 emulation with ShadPS4. And it appears the development version of ShadPS4 is making some significant progress on Bloodborne. It appears the audio is now working without mods, and, well, this person has the frame rate uncapped and they're above 60 frames per second. Well above 60 frames per second. I would say Bloodborne is looking pretty good, doing pretty good, and if you're looking for Bloodborne on PS4 emulation, well, ShadPS4 is currently where it's at. I'm assuming other PS4 emulators will eventually catch up, but ShadPS4 is way out in front right now, and they keep making improvements. Next up, we're talking about something pretty darn cool. Tech by Matt turned an old Nintendo Wii into a gaming PC. It's a pretty awesome sleeper build. It features a Ryzen 7 1700, a GTX 1070. So while it's not the most powerful PC out there, and probably not the best for AAA gaming nowadays, he does test out emulation on it. It does fairly well for Nintendo Switch and also fairly well for PS3. I do recommend checking out this video to see the entire build, the inspiration behind it, as well as gameplay. So take a look at the video and let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. I think the end result is fantastic. I think this took a lot of skill and talent and effort in order to complete it and make it turn out like this. On top of that, the power button turns on the PC, and yes, the GameCube controller ports work. Next up is a friendly heads up. If you play Stardew Valley on mobile, you might be excited to know that the 1.6 update, the big 1.6 update, is now available on Android. So go on ahead and check out Google Play. It might be available for you, it might not. If it's not available for you, just be patient, and probably within a week or two, it should be up there. And this is a real big update to the base game, and one a lot of people are happy about. Taking a look on the Google Play Store, and I can see the update is already there, but I'm in Canada and I don't know how this is rolled out globally and also per device. So who knows, but at the same time here, it should be on the Google Play Store already. And on top of that, for all other Stardew Valley players, Stardew Valley version 1.6.9 has just dropped. This has a whole bunch of fixes and a whole bunch of tweaks and quality of life improvements. For example, bluegrass no longer grows slower than normal grass. Pine trees now drop 1 extra wood when chopped down. And if I scroll down here, this is an awesome quality of life improvement. The game now recovers most saves automatically if they're broken, corrupted, or missing, which is incredible. And speaking about games getting updates, last up here we're talking about the opposite, games shutting down. Now, we've talked about a bunch of games that EA was shutting down in a previous video. I believe I was out on a nature hike looking for moose and bears, but I could be wrong. Anyways, here, there's 7 more games that have been added to the list that are shutting down on January 29. The Simpsons Tapped Out we've talked about before, but now they've added Blood and Glory Immortals on Apple and Google, Contract Killer Sniper, Deer Hunter Classic, Dino Hunter Deadly Shores, Eternity Warriors 4, Frontline Commando 2, and Frontline Commando D-Day. So all of these games will be discontinued or shut down on January 29th. In my opinion, this is one of the big reasons, one of the many big reasons why we've got that Stop Killing Games initiative. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and the legendary one fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.